Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from the Federalist. This is dated December 19th, and you're going to love this because it says, I don't know if you saw this, but PolitiFact put out an article saying the biggest lie of the year, which we're going to go over what that was. And it turns out that there's no way in hell they could have come up with that unless it was completely politically motivated, but PolitiFact should be called PolitiFalse or something like that, but whatever. Article's called Check Yourself, PolitiFact. Here are the biggest lies of the year. And it says there were so many big lies from the left that PolitiFact naturally ignored because, again, it's completely politically biased. So the author says, I can only imagine how much delusion filled the room of the PolitiFact barnstorming session to choose the winning selection of its latest lie of the year. And this is, I believe, a link to the actual article. It is. It says, Bonci at Red State, who, by the way, is a great writer and a great follow on X, and you should definitely check out the site of Red State and follow Bonci as well. So he nailed it with a post on X musing about what the meeting must have looked like through the eyes of a fresh-faced intern, yet to realize that PolitiFact is nothing more than a leftist propaganda operation. And this is what he says down here. We'll actually just show the embedded tweet where Bonci says that the PolitiFact intern would say, what if we go with the lie that Joe Biden was fit to serve? Or how about the lie that Biden wouldn't pardon his son? Those were hugely impactful. And the PolitiFact editor says, nah, we're doing the dog thing. So here's what it's going to say about what PolitiFact said the biggest lie of the year was. So it says, baseless claim. It says, the dog thing, of course, refers to the top-of-the-ticket Republicans' claims that Haitian migrants had been eating the pets around Springfield, a small Rust Belt Ohio city burdened by what has been in the Biden-Harris years. I like that burdened by, nice throwback to Kamala Harris. So, made me chuckle. Scrolling down. At September's presidential debate, then GOP nominee Donald Trump declared, in Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. The usual suspects in the accomplice media, without definitive proof of their own, proclaimed Trump's assertion a baseless claim. They were able to do so because they apparently spoke to the city manager who effectively said, nah, bro, that ain't happening. Yeah, that was their, I remember that. That was their one source, was the city manager just went, yeah, that's not happening. And they just went, okay. And that was the end of the story to them as far as they were concerned. There was actually no journalism whatsoever done. It says, but some residents told a different story. In September, the Federalist published audio of an August 26th phone call in which a concerned resident told law enforcement he had spotted a group of Haitians carrying 4 geese into a vehicle before driving off. Days later, Ohio authorities confirmed that there had been another call to law enforcement related to the Haitians hunting geese at local parks. Multiple Springfield residents who spoke to the Federalist Tristan Justice told of seeing fewer fowl in the parks and felines in the streets. And I've seen the same things myself. And it's like, well, if you're importing a bunch of people from a third world country and a lot of the wild animals just start disappearing at pretty much the exact same time these people come to your town, I'd say there's probably something there to look into. So the corporate media outlets collectively poo-pooing the accounts wrote the Springfield residents off as white supremacists because that's the only thing they could possibly do because they don't have any other thing than that. It says offended that the Biden administration has flooded the community with thousands of Caribbean migrants in recent years. PolitiFact is doubling down on the lie of the lie. It says with a brazen disregard for facts, Donald Trump and his running mate repeatedly peddled a created story that in Springfield, Ohio, Haitian immigrants were eating pet dogs and cats, PolitiFact reported. With this claim, amplified before 67 million television viewers in his debate against Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump took his anti-migrant, the U.S. borders out of control campaign agenda to a new level. Turns out Trump was right, but I mean, we could say that about any number of things. So the folks at the Quack Fact Checker picked a story they can't disprove as their lie of the year. In doing so, PolitiFact laughably suggests that saying President Joe Biden and his border czar, Vice President Kamala Harris, have left America with a border crisis is a lie. Trump is now president-elect in no small part because of the damage done by the Biden administration's open border gambit. Even the exceptional propagandists at the New York Times were forced to concede the truth. So Joseph Goebbels must be smiling in hell. Yes, the propaganda is crazy. So many lies, so little interest. Says there are plenty of bona fide lies PolitiFact could have chosen. Certainly the great untruths that the cognitively compromised Biden was fit to serve one term, let alone a second, or that Harris was a competent replacement on the Democrat Party bingo card would have fit the bill. Biden lying that he wouldn't pardon his morally bankrupt son, that's a good one. Yeah, seriously, like how many times do we see any amount of people in the government say that Biden wasn't going to do that, and then, oh, look, he did, and like everybody on the right was like, yeah, we kind of knew that was what was going to happen, but whatever. It says the no one is above the law shtick sure is funny, and it turns out a complete and utter lie. It seems the only ones surprised by Biden's lie of the year are the corporate media news outlets who have been covering up and lying about the acting president's perfidy for years. So here's another lie told by an idiot. It says, one thing I've always believed about public service, especially about the presidency, is the importance of asking yourself, have we left the country in better shape than we found it? Today, I can say with every fiber of my being, with all my heart, the answer to the question is a resounding yes, Biden said this week at a DNC holiday event celebrating his administration's achievements. It's amazing to me that it's like, I understand he wants to run propaganda for himself, but it's like, do you really, truly believe that? Like, have you seen what's happening in the country? And if we were in a better place now than we were 4 years ago, you'd be going into a second term if you weren't, like, mentally addled. Okay, or Kamala would be elected instead of Trump. Okay, so obviously that is just a complete lie. It says, he also described his vice president as someone of immense character that she demonstrated throughout her entire career. The record would suggest it's a very generous lie. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, if this is the first time you're ever hearing something negative about Kamala Harris and about her career, you might want to go look up the things that she's done, and it doesn't match up with that quote whatsoever. It says, how about the accomplice media insisting the Democratic National Committee anointing Harris as the presidential candidate after chloroforming Biden's re-election bid wasn't a soft coup? And that was a bald-faced lie on a scale of P.T. Barnum's circus of frauds. So speaking of the circus that was the Harris-Walz campaign, the vice president and running mate Minnesota Governor Tim Walz told some epic whoppers over the course of the campaign. From lies about inflation to immigration to job creation, the Democrats' failed standard bearers had all kinds of trouble with the truth that could well be deemed lie of the year. And then there was Harris's untruth that Trump would force states to monitor women's pregnancies. That was such an egregious lie that even PolitiFact took notice. Oh, look, so they knew about this and just didn't bother to call it a lie, but okay. It says, we have totally failed. The left is full of happy warriors and a sustained war on the truth. The nearly 4-year Capitol insurrection lie crumbled further this year with the release of a curious video in which former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi repeatedly admits she should have done more to protect the U.S. Capitol from the January 6th rioters, according to the New York Post. It says, we have totally failed. We have to take some responsibility for not holding the security accountable for what could have happened, the California Democrat says at one point in video taken by her documentarian daughter. But Pelosi had no intention of taking responsibility for the security lapse. Republicans investigating the many abuses of the J6 committee witch hunt obtained the video per demand to HBO. Instead, Pelosi quickly placed all of the blame on Trump, who spoke to demonstrators about the rigged 2020 election on January 6, 2021, before the protest degenerated into riots. Pelosi said Trump's got to pay a price for that. Yes, because telling people to protest peacefully or saying, I think there were shenanigans here, which it seems like there probably was, yeah, he's got to pay a price for that, huh? Sure. Because the price became the full-scale weaponization of the Biden-Harris Justice Department against the left's number one political enemy, Donald Trump, and those who dared to support him. Voters in November rejected the left's ultimate lie of the year, that Trump is a threat to democracy, a lie driven by a Pravda press that sold it as truth. The same people who brought you Russian collusion and demanded that Hunter Biden's incriminating laptop wasn't real are the last people to be believed as arbiters of the truth. The real lie of the year is not cats and dogs in Springfield. It's the delusion of PolitiFact and its corporate media ilk that they can be trusted to truthfully testify to what is a lie and what is not. Very good. I mean, just in this small article, without going into, too in depth into everything, it shows you like all the other things that they just skipped over in terms of lie of the year to go with. Oh, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. I can't do a Trump impersonation, and I kind of tried really badly there. But yeah, there you go. So, would you believe PolitiFact even if they, if they put this out, or did you see this article and did you go, that can't possibly be what they gave the lie of the year to? But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.